Hi, in today's AI demo, I don't actually want to go through a demo. I want to give you an update of some of the things that are happening in the AI world that you may or may not be aware of that I find absolutely mind-boggling. The idea for this came when I was having a conversation with my partner, David. Now, he and I talk all the time, and I try to update him on things as much as he's interested in things about AI. So it's not that he doesn't follow along. He really does follow along. But he had this conversation with me a few days ago about self-driving cars. And he said, oh, they're years away. And I said, no, they're not. There are self-driving taxis in the United States right now. And funnily enough, this was one of the updates from the memo. And I thought, I talked to him about this stuff, and he doesn't even know what's happening in the AI world. And you'd be forgiven if you're like him and don't follow it as closely as I do. But I think one of my goals is to help everybody understand just how fast this is moving and the capability of all AI applications, regardless of whether it's something that you can use every day, which is the intention of this newsletter, or something that's happening outside in the world that's going to affect our everyday lives. So anyway, I put together this quick and dirty slide deck, which is not you can tell that my graphic designer had nothing to do with this. My graphic designer being my EA, Clarissa. I did these myself, and you can tell. The first thing that is mind-boggling is the amount of information that these models are now being trained on. So the LLMs are now training on the equivalent of all printed books on Earth, regardless of the language. That was just as of May. And this is multiple models being trained on that number of books. This one absolutely blew my mind, even though I knew that it was happening. So Neuralink, that is the experimental Elon Musk device that is being implanted experimentally in a couple people's brains. One of the patients has ALS, and he cannot move, he can't speak, and he can think, but he can't move or speak. He is now creating YouTube videos with his brain. Yeah, I know. Sit with that for a minute. Incredible. Along a similar line, Apple is developing a brain-computer interface along with a company called Synchron, which is backed by Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. Wow, talk about some powerhouses. So this device is going to allow users to control Apple devices like your phone, like the Mac that I am recording this on, like your iPad, just using your thoughts. Yeah, science fiction. Oh my gosh, it's actually happening. It's actually here. Now, I'm not saying that these things are not without their problems. They are, and that's part of the reason that I want to bring this to your attention. So I'm on one hand excited and exhilarated, and on the other hand, very much terrified about some of this stuff. The next little update is that Alan Thompson expects the upcoming O5 model, that's a ChatGPT model, to be proto-ASI. So proto is early, first stage form of artificial superintelligence. That's where artificial intelligence becomes smarter than all of us. And there are a number of different criteria that he uses. He's got a whole list of criteria for both artificial general intelligence, AGI, and ASI. He's not doing a countdown on ASI until AGI reaches 100%, and it's at 94%. The O5 model will be multimodal, which means that you'll be able to talk to it, it'll have vision, you can interface with it a number of different ways. This was astounding as well. Can AI change your view? Evidence from large-scale online field experiments from April of this year said that AI significantly surpasses human performance in persuasion. AI is more persuasive than human beings. Again, terrifying and exhilarating, by the way, because we are in a very polarized world with entrenched views. Potentially, AI can help us break through this polarization. So that's what I'm excited about. And then the last couple of things having to do with what started this conversation, robotaxis and self-driving cars. So this is fascinating. Robotaxis already making the roads safer. Now, there's a company called Waymo that operates primarily, I think, in California that have self-driving taxis around LA and San Francisco. But there's now proven research that say that robotaxis, self-driving cars, are actually safer than human beings. This was one of the criteria, one of the lines that it had to pass for wide adoption. So I expect it to be widely adopted. And the last one I have to chuckle about, because I remember having a discussion with a client about 8 years ago. And this client is in the trucking industry. And I said that I predicted that robotic trucks, long-haul trucks, would become more prevalent faster than self-driving cars. I'm not so sure I was right about that, by the way, but I had to chuckle about this latest headline. The company who is now putting the first driverless semi-trucks on the roads between Dallas and Houston in the United States. They have had self-driving trucks before, but with a human safety person to ride along with the AI. Now they're just putting the trucks on the road without the human. It has been deemed safe. So there you have it, a little bit of an update on what's going on in the world of AI. I hope you enjoyed it. I am going to come back to you next week with more demos. By the way, if there's a tool that you would like me to demo, drop me a line. I will be happy. If I don't know how to use it myself, I am more than happy to investigate it and to bring it to you. So until next time, thanks.